Hello, welcome into another FIFA 23 Tactics tutorial video for you. I'm Ash, from 18, whichever you prefer, and today we're continuing our Tactics tutorial series with counter-attacking systems. What is the best way and what are the best tips to create a successful counter-attacking system in FIFA 23? Well, we're going to go through today. I'm going to tell you the best formations, I'm going to tell you the best custom tactics, and also the best player instructions as well for you to make that ultimate successful counter-attack system. Before we get into that, I quickly want to say, if you haven't done so already, make sure to go and check out my Patreon. The link is down below. You can get access to fantastic perks and rewards, such as exclusive tactics videos that you can only get on Patreon of mine, as well as my FIFA 23 tactics package, rankings and ratings of every system I cover on the channel, early access to videos, Discord server access. Come and join us in the Discord, lots of great stuff going on there. And I also want to say a massive thank you to all of my patrons who are kindly supporting to the channel and keeping it going, really. So thank you very much, all you wonderful patrons. With that being said, let's talk about counter-attacking systems. So first things first, we're going to talk about the formation, and I'm going to tell you the best formations for you to use. And really, there are two factors that you are looking for, in my opinion. One is wingers or wide midfielders. You're looking for systems with those players in the wide areas because, as we know, FIFA, it's very easy to exploit space in the wide areas, and when you do generally counter-attack, a lot of the kind of passages of play tend to be down the sides in the wide areas. And so you're really looking for wide midfielders to exploit this. So, you know, a 4-2-3-1 wide, you can go for any of these 4-3-3s down here as well, where you've got wingers. There can be wide midfielders or wingers. You tend to notice that wide midfielders sometimes positioned a little bit deeper, and they'll pick the ball up kind of, you know, in earlier. But, you know, wingers, again, that's the same really principle. On top of this, you're also looking for systems with two strikers. Now, it doesn't have to be include both. If you want to use, say, a 4-2-3-1, for example, you can go with that. But on the other hand, if you're looking for something with a little bit of extra counter-attacking threat, then something like a 4-4-2, particularly a holding, which we'll talk about shortly, is really ideal for counter-attacking systems. How many times have we seen it? Those defensive teams, they get those two banks of four, they play that 4-4-2, and they've got strikers who are able to exploit kind of all areas across the width of the pitch. That's really important. You're also looking for defensive midfielders. So with regards to 4-4-2, I would absolutely prefer the holding over the flat. And then with the likes of 4-2-3-1, for example, this is a good one because you've got two defensive midfielders in there. And the reason we're looking for defensive midfielders is because generally with counter-attacking systems, what you are doing is you're generally going to be winning the ball within your own half, which means you're going to be inviting pressure onto you from the opposition. And with that, you've got a lot more protection with defensive midfielders compared to flat central midfielders. Say with this 4-4-2 flat, for example, you're going to find bigger gap between your midfield and your defence, and it's harder to really invite pressure onto you but manage that pressure and make sure that you are protecting your goal and giving you a chance to regain the ball back. So defensive midfielders are really also what you're looking for. So some things along the lines of 4-2-3-1 wide. You can use these 4-3-3s such as maybe the false 9 or the holding or the defend. And then you've also got the likes of obviously the 4-4-2 holding as well. So what about custom tactics then? Well, I'm going to take you through the ones that are really relevant and important to a counter-attacking system. Some of these you don't need to worry about in terms of you can just set them to what you personally prefer or what suits your system. So with the defensive style, anything except constant pressure is what you're looking for. Now you might be thinking, how do we kind of incorporate a press if it's a counter-attacking system? And the best way to really give you a good example of that is a team like Liverpool, where they don't have this extreme press, but they have a kind of counter-pressing system. But they've still kind of, throughout that Jurgen Klopp era, they've been seen as this kind of dangerous counter-attacking team. And that's because on this, you'll see here that pressure on heavy touch and press after possession loss, you're not pressing all the time. It's only in short spurts. Other than that, they'll then regain their possession and bed back into the block, which we'll talk about the depth very shortly. So you can get away with anything on here other than constant pressure, where obviously it's not really lending itself to a counter-attacking system. The depth is also another important one. You do not want it on a high line like it is here. You're looking for anything below that really. 50 as a mid block is absolutely fine, a low block as well. You're really looking anything from 60 and below. That's what you're looking for. So you're going to have that mid block, or you can have the low block. You can rotate between the two, whatever you prefer, whatever is more personal to you. But the most important thing is that you don't have a high line, because obviously you're looking to invite that pressure onto you, not get counter-attacked on. Now let's talk about the offensive tactics, because first things first, build-up play. People are going to generally get forward into thinking fast build-up is the way to go, but that's not necessarily true. You can also get away with slow build-up as well. And we've done this in lots of our replication tactics videos before. Because with slow build-up, it's going to be more about you. Because let's say, for example, you get the ball with one of your defenders. You can then choose either to play it to another defender, play it to a defensive midfielder, or if you're quick enough about it, you've got the opening kind of look, you can get it quickly into a striker or a winger who are further up the field, and then all of a sudden you're in the opponent's half, or you're on the halfway line, and you can instigate that counter-attack. So just because it's slow build-up doesn't mean it's all about possession. It's more about you as the player. You can get it, kind of skip the midfield, go into the attackers with your passing and your decision making, and then that is going to help you instigate those counter-attacks. So you doesn't have to be fast build-up. You can get away with slow build-up as well, but generally avoid the likes of balanced. Long ball is again another kind of tactic that you can use. I don't find a whole lot of difference between fast build-up and long ball, in all honesty. What I do notice is kind of still players running in behind, which they kind of do anyway. You will, of course, notice the difference between long ball and slow build-up. But again, it's something that you can obviously utilise as well. Generally, just kind of avoid balance, because I don't really use it. I don't really see what it does too much, particularly with regards to being different to these kind of tactics as well. So balance I just avoid, but really you can go for any of these three. Chance creation is absolutely forward runs. To get that most successful and effective counter-attacking tactic, you need movement. Movement is the most important thing. Penetrating runs in behind, lots of just runs and intelligent runs at that. And forward runs is what is going to allow you to do that. So that is absolutely the one that you should be going for. We should also talk about the width very quickly. You're generally wanting to have 70 and above, which is going to make a very wide shape. Again, because you're going to stretch the player, then you're going to be able to utilize the wide areas that we've already spoken about is extremely successful. And I've also just noticed that JOAO FELIX is just randomly standing in the way of the screen. What is he doing here? Why are you here, JOAO FELIX? That's very, very strange. Oh, we sorted it, finally. There it is. I can't believe I've just done nearly 10 minutes of recording and not noticed that he was there. So I do apologise for that. As we were saying, obviously, you're looking for a very wide system because, again, you're looking to exploit those wide areas. So as a result, you want to stretch the play. And stretching that will also create lots of space for runners to then move into. That, as we've spoken about, is very, very important. Now, you can definitely have success with a counter-attacking system below 70 with something that's more balanced or even a little bit more narrow, although I would advise against it. But generally I would say try to get it wide if you can. If you prefer something in this mid-range, that's absolutely fine. Give it a try. I just don't think it will be as effective as something that's 70 and above. So talking about the player instructions, then there are only a couple you really need to know for all successful counter-attacking systems. One is, of course, this one. Support runs on getting behind. That's how you're going to get those penetrating runs. And you can obviously do it with the strikers and with the wingers and wide midfielders as well. Getting behind is obviously very natural. Now, if, say, for example, you've got this system here, the 4-2-3-1, you don't need every player on getting behind. If you want the two wingers on getting behind, but then say you want the striker to be, I don't know, a target man, for example, so that he can hold the ball up and kind of get runners in and around him, that's absolutely fine. So you don't have to have them all and get behind, but generally you are looking for at least a couple of them to be kind of making those penetrating runs in behind the opposition back line. Another thing that's important to note is I think you should always be looking for a box-to-box midfielder. So with that in mind, you want attacking support and get forward for one of your central midfielders. Again, this doesn't have to be for the 4-2-3-1. If you're using, say, a 4-4-2, for example, maybe one of your defensive midfielders is that kind of aggressive defensive midfielder, ball-winning midfielder, or a deep line playmaker. But then the other one, in which case we've got Bellingham here, who's obviously perfect for that box-to-box role. We've got him on get forward. And why I think stress this and think this is very important is because when you are playing down the wide areas, you might then generally find yourself in crossing situations. And with that in mind, you need players in the central areas, getting into the box and providing the threat from those crossing situations. And it can't just be the striker, or in this case 2 strikers. You need a little bit more. So I would always suggest that you have a box-to-box central midfielder as well as a kind of must for a counter-attacking system. So with that being said, we are just about ready to round it off. If you've got any more questions about counter-attacking systems, don't hesitate to get at me in the comment section and I will do my best to get back to you about it. Check out all of my other tactics tutorial videos. You'll find the playlist in the description down below. We've covered lots of different systems and we've got lots more to come as well. So subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notifications every time I upload. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. The link is down below. Lots of fantastic perks and rewards on there. The best way to support the channel outside of obviously watching the videos and subscribing to the channel. So do go and check that out as well. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And check out my video games podcast. The link to that is down below. If you want your video games fix, myself and my good pal Ash do cover regular, weekly, hopefully, video game topics. So something well worth checking out as well. With that being said, we're going to round it off there. Thank you so much for watching. And until the next one, I will see you soon.